I need a copy.
I sent it to you, though. You shouldn't need.
Copy the email. Nothing happens there anyways. So you invite people anyways.
Did I close the link?
No. You can close it. Oh.
Oh, that's just the mouse. Okay. The finance.
Still trying to get on.
Yeah, just
Yeah, they're locked out of you. You're locked out of the other one, right?
Yeah.
it's gonna be in 1 second. What did he post it?
What happened to it?
Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
can be viewed live.
Then post it.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Post.
Post it. Well, now post it.
No.
Go. Let's see. Okay. Oh, you gotta close this. We'll have to go back to Zoom, right?
Oh.
And invite everybody in.
Participants. Nobody here yet.
No? Thought somebody was coming in.
Is your fun?
Got the copies. You don't want it already live.
Go on to the pass number.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody coming in? Really?
What Tim's is saying is the Post has another meeting in progress.
Did we cancel the other one?
I did. I canceled the other one. I'm not.
Oh, because it goes on till 6 maybe.
No, I put it in for half an hour.
Oh, yeah. Here's some good.
That's on the phone, isn't it? Because I'm in and this is what I said about doing a meeting right before a meeting. You should never do that because it doesn't work.
No, it's not.
But that's what I was trying to tell you. And if you're going to do that, then do the other meeting after the non-public one. Yeah. Nobody.
Why, here we go, talking.
That's just us talking. Yeah.
Nobody's coming in. Okay.
She just sent another invite. So see if you got that. It was at 6:07. Ronnie, does everybody know you sent a new invite?
It's the same invite that I had sent before, Christine, so
Oh,
either
Tim has
one,
one. Tim didn't get one at 6:07 PM that I did.
he didn't get, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me resend it to him.
Okay. I think we'll just call it a wrap, won't we? I'm under duress now. I don't think I can function in my manner that I should. See, okay, it's decided. That meeting that hasn't even started. Okay.
So Christine, I just sent Tim another one.
Okay. So she just sent you one?
Yes, just sent him another request.
To his town email? Okay.
Yes,
And what about Bob and Lorna?
they all got one as well. I sent one to everyone.
And have they gotten, they're not on.
Okay, no. Bob was on earlier, was he not? Bob was on earlier, so I imagine he can come back. So probably if we can get Lorna.
And Carolyn's just trying to connect to audio.
What's she on? Wasn't it?
Connecting? Okay. I'll phone
It
Carolyn.
does say your iPad is connecting to audio.
Okay,
Okay, Tim is joining.
you're joining. Okay, but
Slowly but surely.
We'll all get started by 6:15,
Yeah, so
hopefully.
I'm just phoning Carolyn to see,
if Tim says,
are you trying to connect to your audio? Did you see the new invite? Go back to your email.
it's like, you know. You should go look at that. So,
So, and then hit that again, and then it should. There you
Okay,
are. There you are. Okay.
okay, bye. Pain in the eye. But now I don't have a camera on that one, so I've got to. Oh, great. I'll come back. Hold on.
Hi, Bob.
Hey,
We'll get there. Wait.
oh, okay.
the lawn is missing.
We're just
Yes,
missing-
I have to do it on my big machine because it's got the proper camera.
That's okay,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Are you on your
Okay.
bike? Heading
Are
down
we
the
going, are we going from this link now or the other link?
This
The new
link,
link.
this link. You're live
All right.
now.
So you guys are live, just so you know.
Okay, just give me a second to join in the new link on the other machine.
Me too. I think I'm done. It keeps saying the host will let you in soon, but I
Oh,
don't. It keeps saying, please wait, the meeting host will let you in soon. Oh, God, help us. Hello. Oh, God.
Ronnie. Where she go?
Hello. Oh, God. Well, I can't because I'm not even on. I'm
I
not
can
even
hear
on.
you.
I'm going goodbye. I'm gonna, well,
No,
I
don't
went
go.
out of it. I went out of it. Okay, just so
Can't
you
see
know,
her.
I went right out of it and I went into something else and it's still on.
She got that red
Okay, bye.
camera's off, right?
Okay, she's joining separately. That's fine.
I slowed everything down. Okay.
Carolyn's on twice.
God help me.
Oh, no, now we have an excuse for the delay.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hello. Hello. Is it 7? It's not 7 o'clock. It must be a fire.
No, it's a vehicle rollover on Cowichan Lake Road.
Have you got a scanner?
No,
Oh, how do you know that?
Can you close your iPad one, Carolyn?
I
Can you
did.
leave-
My iPad's shut.
Can you leave that meeting from your iPad? You're gonna get feedback, that's all.
I did. I went right out of it. It
This
shut
one?
down and it closed off. It's
just
It's
remember,
gone.
folks,
Okay,
we're now
remove the other
live.
one, Carolyn.
pardon?
Just remember, we're now live.
Am I? I don't feel alive. Okay, go ahead.
Well, now the whole town knows.
Are we missing some? Where's Lorna?
Lana.
Oh my God.
Can you hear the fire siren?
Not coming from my computer. A rollover. Gee, the roads are fairly dry. Oh well. Never mind. So we've lost Lorna. Are we getting her back?
Yeah, I was just getting Lauren in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so just go to your emails and it's the first email and yeah, you're there.
Technology is fun, eh?
And you went to the first email in your list now, right? Okay. Okay, I'll just keep you here while till you're on. No. So hi, Ronnie. Lorna's trying to get in. If you see her.
Lorna's just joining now.
Okay, I think I'm in. I can hear Ronnie now, so start video. Okay,
Yes.
I'm here. Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah, and you're live.
Great. Sorry for the technical difficulty there. Welcome, my virtual colleagues and everyone watching at home. I'd like to first of all acknowledge our gathering this evening on the traditional territories of the Subats Nation. Thank you for joining us. Introduction of late items. I think we have one under F. New business, the formation of the Strategic Planning Committee. Nothing
Council-
from you, Joseph?
Nothing from me, no.
Okay. Mayor Day?
Yes, I have one. Notice a motion regarding the issue of homelessness and prospective funding opportunities. And I'll speak to that briefly when we get there, if that's okay.
Got it. Thank you. Looking for approval of the agenda as amended, please. Moved
So
by
moved.
Councilor Bromacno, seconded by Councilor Austin. All those in favor?
Yay.
Opposed, if any? That motion carries. So business arising and unfinished business. Municipal Hall renovations. Joseph, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, I guess the memo is fairly self-explanatory. We're hoping to get going in February. I think it's the date I've got here. And in the meantime, I've also left a message with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs to see if we can piggyback this project on a grant, on an infrastructure grant. They haven't returned my call yet. So hopefully that could be done through a grant.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, if
Ernie?
possible. Yes, thank you. Just a question through to staff. On several projects that I've been in, larger projects I've been involved in before, they established a small oversight committee, but the board was far too big to involve in what could be weekly adjustments in what's going on, and just to pass on information to the council as well, or the board. So, and get the consensus of that group for any changes and anything else going on with that. So in light of the size of our council, I don't really think we need that. We have an opportunity to report back at Finance Admin once a month, and it's easy enough to get in touch with each of us quickly if we need to go over stuff, just to take a little bit of the stress off of staff if there's any large issues that come up that might need adjustment in the budget or the design and things like that. And I know they'd appreciate our input. It helps give them confidence moving forward if things like that go on. But I'm just wondering, another question, a lot of larger projects also have a project manager, and I don't know the way forward with the tendering and who's going to be sending in their bids and stuff and how it's going to be managed. But I'm just wondering if our CEO, Joseph, if you believe you're going to have the capacity to manage this project on your own as well as all your other duties, or are you going to be calling on the expertise of other staff to help you out on that? So I'll leave that with you for an answer.
Okay. I'm relying on the architects and other staff, so it's not wholly myself. And so far it's been good. It's mostly trying to manage the outside folks, like the architect is the process in itself.
Yeah, if I may just follow up, and that's why I posed the question. If it's going to take too much time to take you away from all the other important stuff you do, like building agendas and things like that, and we don't want to see you there till 9 o'clock at night trying to get agendas ready and things. If if you could need some help, and if you have the capacity within the organization to get it.
Yeah, so far it's been okay.
Okay, thank you.
Just a reminder, if you're not speaking, can you please mute? We're getting feedback, background noise, etc. Perfect. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you, Joseph. We'll move on to correspondence. Date City delegation, proposed delegation visit from Otaki in October 2021. Would you like to speak to that, Joseph?
Well, it's really something that council may want to be more involved in myself. I'm not sure if this is, if their plans are in sync with what council has envisaged. So it's really up to council, I think.
I think they have indicated in the correspondence their choice of 3 would be number 3 on the timing of their visit. I think if we put this forward to the Otaki committee during the meeting for some further discussion, given some of the new orders, provincial orders, and where we'll be in October, may be different than where we are now. So if we can put this forward to the Otaki committee for further discussion.
There is no Otaki committee this year, but maybe towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we can implement it in the new year for a committee meeting and discuss perhaps with some correspondence back with Date City.
Okay.
Does that work?
That will work.
Okay.
And if I could just chime in for a second, just quickly, because I heard that one of the past delegates from Lake Cowichan would be interested in organizing a virtual visit if that has to be moved forward that way, and they're quite involved in it. So Evan Cruto, is it, or Devin? Evan Cruto?
Evan Cruto, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Anyways,
Thank you.
I just heard that.
Nothing else on that? Okay, moving forward. Director of Finance, financial report for the period ending November 30th. Ms. Gill, are you there?
Hi, Tim, I am here. So the financial statements are there. I just wanted to know that to let everyone know that we're selling dog tags now for anybody needing a dog tag. The business license renewal letters will be hopefully sent out this week or next. And a question that was asked at the last finance meeting was the number of niches. So this 24 per side, so there's a total of 48 niches per unit, so a total of 96, of which 73 are still left to be sold. So we're selling about, well, in 2 years, we've sold 7 and 7, and the third year we sold 9. So lots of space left there.
Okay, thank you.
If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anything from councillors on, yes, Councillor Sandu.
Thank you very much. I just had a question regarding Public Works under the capital expenses and the schedule of just Public Works yearly expenses was sidewalks. So under the schedule of Public Works expenses, it was budgeted $20,000, and then $16,603 were used. And then to the capital expenses, $100,000 was budgeted, and we've used $21,746. So are those two budgets combined, like those two amounts?
Yeah, generally speaking, you want to do sidewalks where there's roads, but if there's a sidewalk in serious need of repair, that would also.
Okay.
That budget, I think, just with the turnover in the superintendent positions, probably didn't get spent as it should.
Okay. I just wanted to double check because I hadn't noticed that before. So I just wanted to double check. Thank you.
Great. Further questions, councillors? Mayor Day. Councillor Romaka.
I can unmute you if you like. You need to unmute, Lorna.
Okay, it says, yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, I got the right one then. I'm just wondering, when I ran over the financial report, and I don't remember whether it's this year that we're putting it forward to reserve, but I was wondering where I would find the snow removal.
Yes,
Remember?
we are putting that over to reserve, whatever is not spent at the end of the year.
This year. Okay, thank you.
What happens is we put it into reserve in the following year, the year after, once the year end is done.
Okay, I was thinking we were a year behind, but I guess it was from last year that we made that reserve, so thank you. And I just wanted one other question, but I don't know whether you could answer it or whether it be our Public Works. But I was just under Public Works, when we have our safety and training, and we budgeted 34,000, and we've roughly spent about 14. And I know we were doing training for our water treatment plant, and I was just wondering what other safety and training was going on with our Public Works.
Well, I think, yeah. Well, there's also the first aid tickets all need to be renewed. However, because of COVID, that couldn't be done. So there's training that they get on an annual basis, and it would be more that superintendent.
Okay, good. Yeah, just wanted to make sure we were always keeping our staff upgraded, our employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions, comments? If you do find yourself going through the financial reports and you do see something that tweaks you, I'm sure Ms. Gill would be happy to respond if you contact her.
Yes, I would. Thanks.
Excellent. So moving on to B, building inspectors report.
fairly quiet month.
Yeah, that's mainly for information.
Just for council's information, it may be getting busier in the new year with a whole series of subdivisions coming on stream.
Thank you. I see that's probably going to happen, yes. Okay, that was just for information. Everyone okay with that? Great. Lake Cowichan Fire Department Incident Report for October 2020. Councillor Sandu. You're moving that? Okay, do I have a seconder? Seconder, so move to approve the expenditure of $8,970.62 for the October monthly report.
I just have a question.
Absolutely.
Is that okay? I see there's 18 alarms activated. Again, do we charge them after the third time or? I mean, that's a lot of alarms activated in 1 month. Hello?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I can get back to you on that.
Okay, I just thought that's a lot of alarms. Okay, thank you.
We do have something for recouping some of those costs. If it's
We do, yeah.
3 within a year, I believe, in the same property.
Same property, yes.
So I think these have been spread around in various properties, but I'm hoping that we can keep a track on those and try to mitigate it as much as possible. Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments on the October report? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Now we'll move on to the Lake Cowichan Fire Department Incident Report for November 2020. Moved by Councillor Sandu, seconded by Mayor Day to expend $13,666.31 for the November fire incident report. Questions or comments on that?
19 on that one, yeah.
Okay. Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Please remember to mute, ladies and gentlemen, when you're not speaking. Thank you. Get back to the agenda here. CAO, relocation of buildings and structures. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, there was a representation made by a delegation in October, and council at that point asked that I prepare the staff report, and I've done that. And you can see where our recommendation lies, and basically that's up to council now. If they feel that relocation of older homes is a good idea, then it's entirely up to you. We do allow homes that are post 1990 to be relocated in town. I don't know if you want to add to additional homes that are pre 1990 to the existing stock that we have in Lake Cowichan.
Okay, you have the staff report and the recommendation in front of you. I have Mayor Day for a question or comment.
Comment, just that I support the recommendation because to the best of my knowledge, just like contaminated soil, there's no government entity that is able to inspect these homes before they arrive here and give it a clean bill of health. We, of course, don't want to be sending our staff into these type of buildings to do that job. Yeah, so I'm in favor of this recommendation.
Anyone further? Councilor Vermaca.
Thank you. I was going to echo Mayor Days that we don't have the staff to be able to look at these homes when they do come in. And I think it's putting a lot on our building inspector. Now, I know at the presentation, they were saying that Lake Cowichan was one of the last to allow the recycled homes to come in here. So when I thought about it a little bit further, I thought, well, there are a lot of other options then for these recycled homes to go into communities that are set up for them and that have the staffing to take care of them. So I think I will go with the staff's recommendation that at this time we don't look at allowing them.
I think we do allow them, just not pre-1990. And
Yes.
that's the date for some indicators of asbestos in drywall, et cetera, et cetera. So anyone further? Councillor Austin.
I'm going to say we have had a few brought in because there was one on Satlum just a few years ago, right next to Marwoods there. And I don't know what year it was, but it was all restuccoed and rebuilt. So we have had a few, just not a lot of them. We have allowed them, and I don't know what year that one was, but that was a few years ago on Satlum, just so.
Okay. Do you need a resolution to this or just direction to follow?
Yeah, I think a resolution would be helpful.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking for a resolution on the recommendation. Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. Further discussion on that? That we do not allow relocation of structures prior to 1990. Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. Next is the meeting schedule for Town of Lake Cowichan for 2021. Here would be your chance. Councillor Austin, you had suggested a time change.
People are aware.
If you
Well, I was thinking more about snow and people coming, staying late and stuff like that. If people were happy to keep it at 6, it's fine. But we did do 5 o'clock for many years for the basic meetings. If that works for people for the committee meetings, I'm happy, whatever way. Doesn't matter to me, really.
And I know
just
one of your
worried
points was to try to let staff
Yeah,
go home at a decent hour, not stick around for an hour and a half after
right.
quitting time, waiting for a meeting to break out.
That's
do
right.
that
That
quite
I've always thought of that. So it just, whatever everybody else says is fine with me.
Well, I know perhaps Councillor Bomaka would have problems at 5 o'clock starts for some of those. So. And if I do return to employment, that would be a problem for me as well. So your choice, Council, if you'd like to stay at 6 o'clock for committee meetings, that works. Your day, you're reaching for your button.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. There's no sneaky way to do that, is there?
Nope.
Yeah, so I'm in favor of staying at 6, and my main reason is I do empathize with staff that may have to drive home in some nasty weather in the dark, but it's just so we could hopefully, now that we're able to live stream, engage more of the public with our meetings and give them a chance to get home from work. I do know that they one rush hour is at 5:30 and the other one is at 6:30. So hopefully we can catch a few more people if they so decide to watch at home. So my main reason for staying at 6 would be to increase public engagement.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ramaka.
Is there a way for staff to be able to attend the Zoom meeting from their homes?
Well, I believe that's accommodated if they wish to.
That may be an avenue to go, because this could last a while longer with no, I think I was reading and it would say that the public weren't allowed at meetings right now because of the COVID situation. So for staff to be there, I believe there's 2 or 3, they may easily be able to attend by Zoom.
From home, yes.
Yep, and we'll let them accommodate whatever way they want to attend, whether it be in chambers or at town hall or from their residence.
Thank you.
Thank you. So approval of that, you need a resolution to that effect?
Yes, you're approving the schedule for next year.
Moved by Mayor Day, seconded by Councillor Bomaka. For the question, Councilor Waka, you're just seconding? Okay, call a question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, we're looking at B, new business, biannual meeting with area directors of F&I. Mayor Day, you wish to speak to that?
Yeah, it's something that's been on my radar for a few years now, and we don't seem to be able to sit down with our neighbors. We don't seem to get around to it, and I just thought if we considered adding it to our regular meeting schedule, and of course we give some thought to that if we want to move forward and make sure it wasn't on a Wednesday, and you could probably give some good advice on what days will and won't work. Even if in the future it's Zoom, if that's the way it needs to be. I mean, we still have that option for those type of meetings, because we just never seem to engage with them other than what you yourself do at the CVRD. But you don't often get a chance to talk about maybe future sharing of services or issues like that might arise, or how about rec commission appointments. Which didn't go well, folks. I know you had wanted a public input, but apparently it's not going to happen this time. The two area directors decided on an individual on their own, and I won't say any names, but because those need to stay in camera until they're actually approved. But they voted on their own without consultation, and that was something that could definitely be handled in those other meetings. Yeah, that's why I'm suggesting it, and I'm sure there'd be lots to talk about. So if they were made official meetings.
We have met with them on certain topics in the past couple of years, whether it be highway safety or other issues of tubing on surrounding electoral areas. But I think a biannual check-in is probably a good idea if we implement that into a schedule. I have Councillor Austin.
Could we include the First Nation, because that's what we did with the lift meetings. They haven't happened this year, but the First Nations are part of our area. I mean, we're in their area. Would we include them and keep it as a basic lift meeting and do it twice a year? It wouldn't hurt. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, or even just re-implementing the lift committee when we are able to accommodate that. That usually is bi-monthly, every 2 months. So that would be an avenue for those discussions as well, Mayor Day. So whichever route we choose, I think it's important to engage, as Mayor Day said, on some topics that may be mutual between elected officials, on surfaces and accommodating how we can move forward on certain projects, whether it be active transportation, where there's a tripartite application perhaps for a future application. But that discussion would happen there and then move forward from there if they so desire. So if we can keep the lift portion separate from the electoral area directors, I think that would be appropriate. Anything further? Mayor Day.
Yeah, so would it be fair enough, or do we feel to be rushing this issue if we direct staff to, with consultation with the regional district, could be just yourself, Councilor McGonigal, to coming up with a couple of prospective dates and proposing them to our area directors and actually getting them into our meeting schedule, and so that we're all aware of it. And this would be perfect timing, as we're just approving one meeting schedule, but maybe we could amend it and add these two other meetings. And when it comes to First Nations, we're in this Zoom mode now, and I think these meetings could be, if they can't be in person, they can always be in Zoom. And I think it'd be worth just inviting First Nations to these anyways, and sure, leave the lift alone. I've had discussions with Mr. Hamilton about the future of the lift, and they're very busy at the moment, and they don't seem to see much on the horizon for the future of those meetings at this time. as well. I know they have great intentions of reviving them, but it'll be when they have time. As you know, they have lots of stuff on the go there. So I would consider having Area FI and First Nations as well scheduled for those meetings.
I'm wondering if we can't piggyback that on an existing committee instead of a whole standalone committee, whether it be finance administration, adding them twice a year onto the agenda.
Yep.
It would be a Tuesday, which isn't a meeting day for CVRD. They may have community meetings scheduled, but we can look at their schedules and see what works for the two representatives, and perhaps look at April or May as a first one on the finance administration meeting, and invite them virtually if we're still in that mode, or in person should that be allowed.
So if we get a few head nods here, is that okay if Councillor McGonigal works with staff on some appropriate dates for those meetings? That'd be cool.
I will be meeting tomorrow with my fellow directors on the regional district, so I'll broach that question to our elected officials that surround us. Okay. Nothing further on that. We will move to schedule of budget meetings. Now, I think currently staff are working through some preliminary budget discussions. So I think it's important to let that process run its course. And when they are finished with their preliminary work, that we would come back and meet, not as part of a finance meeting, but as a budget standalone meeting. I don't know, in the past, the mayor has been the leader of that discussion. The past 2 years, it's been the chair of the finance committee that has led that discussion. So it's entirely up to you what way you want to go forward. But once we have an idea of what staff's priorities are, we can gauge what council's appetite is for those priorities that they have put forward. So I will pose a question, if I may, through to Joseph on how the initial budget discussions are going, and when we could have an initial discussion on your process.
Yes, we have completed the capital budget process, and we are going to be doing the operational budgets this week, if not next, and we should be wrapped up by the end of this month. And we were hoping to have council input next month.
So would it be fair to say that we can bring those initial discussions to January's finance and min?
Sure. And we can set dates.
And then from there, we can set some further budget dates. Would that work for everyone?
That would work for us, yeah.
How about my fellow councillors?
I had a short discussion not too long ago about these budget meetings with our administrator, and he suggested one possibility is to use the open Tuesday that we have every month to get through that. It might take 3 months, but we do have until May to get something finally approved. But I mean, we could always throw in extra time if we have to, if we council feels they want to get things done a lot quicker. So we'll leave it up to staff, I guess.
No, that's appropriate. The first Tuesday is just agenda review, so we could do that earlier, the agenda review committee, and then at our appropriate time around 6 o'clock, we could go into budget discussions. So let's look at January as a preliminary one on the finance, just for an overview of the process that staff has gone through up till then, and then we'll set some budget dates from there.
And also, just quickly, I'm happy to allow or let Councilor McGonigal continue with those chairing those meetings. That's not a problem. Matter of fact, I enjoy being in the other seat more. I get to talk more. So. No.
I'll just remind you that we are being live streamed and recorded. So watch your body language. No, all good. Okay, so let's look for January's initial discussion, and that will lead right into our strategic planning.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. D, backyard chickens. This is a foul subject. Oh,
Thanks a lot.
I want to hear a drum roll for this one.
Da-da-da-da.
So Councillor Maka, I'm going to let you start.
Yeah, I just wanted, when I read this, I'm wondering why it came from the city of Surrey. And then at the very, very bottom, it says City of Duncan zoning bylaw. It does,
Different ones.
Well, I can explain that. We were looking for samples from the city of Duncan. I did not get those till later on Friday afternoon.
okay,
So they had two pages. One was the zoning bylaw and one was the animal control bylaw. So I just took the excerpts from those bylaws, attached it to the back of Surrey's. Surrey's was basically spelling out the regulations. The issue with Duncan, they don't have any formalized regulations. They just have the two bylaws.
okay, thank you.
Councillor Austin.
Okay, I have a little bit of a report that I'd like to read out, and I will send it to Tim and Lorna and Christine in a minute. We were talking about the vote at the last time and not being very high, and it was brought to my attention from a resident who doesn't own chickens that perhaps those who did not vote did not care one way or the other if residents were allowed chickens. And that came from a friend of mine who forgot to vote, one of them. Comparing chicken votes to swimming pool votes isn't even like comparing apples to oranges. They are very different issues, and the residents that cared to vote have spoken. Are we not going to accept that vote? Keeping chickens is not for the faint of heart. It is a big commitment and a financial burden not to be taken on without a great deal of prior consideration and planning. Not everyone will take on raising chickens, as hens are hard to find right now, and caring for them properly is an expensive hobby. And it is a hobby for many people, just like keeping pigeons or indoor birds. At this time of the coronavirus, food security is important and is similar to the wartime era. And I've mentioned this before, when in cities, people were encouraged to grow victory gardens and keep chickens to fertilize those gardens and to produce eggs for nutritional food. A few months ago, we were given a well-informed and concise presentation regarding keeping backyard chickens in Lake Cowichan. One person in the audience who was there at the time was pleased to learn about chicken rearing and changed her mind about the issue. Most importantly, the chicken group said they would be forming a club for those who are keeping chickens in town in order to share information and ideas to educate responsible, and I mean responsible growers. There are some that may not be responsible, and we want to weed those out. Several residents already raise chickens in their yards and just want to be legal. They really do. So to move forward, what we require is bringing a bylaw to protect both the fowl and the neighbors of those who are raising them. The basic regulations, and I presented this twice to the town over two different councils, where no more than 6 laying hens per town lot, no roosters, permission from landlord if the person does not own the property, all food kept secure and away from pests, pest control measures in place, no killing of birds on the property, regulation, well-built pens and runs for their security and comfort, pens to be cleaned regularly and droppings to be composted in a closed composter until season so as not to cause any undue odors when used on the gardens, because that was one problem one of the neighbors had. Those are the basic points that cover the basis and can be fleshed out in a bylaw. Other communities in the valley and on the island have similar bylaws. I just think 2 councillors debating back and forth is not getting us anywhere. The mayor and each councillor should give their opinion whether to move forward with direction to staff to formulate a new bylaw regarding chicken rearing in the town of Lake Cowichan, or to leave things as they are. And I'll send that report to the other councillors right now.
Great, thank you. And from that delegation, there was a presentation of a petition with 500 names on it. And I was hoping to see at least that number on the straw poll. That was my gauge of disappointment on the response. Not that there was just 140 people or whatever, but with a presentation from the delegation of 500 on the petition, I was hoping to at least see that many. I have no qualms one way or the other, whether or not we have chickens allowed within the animal husbandry bylaw. I do have a concern about renters um, not having permission. I'm not sure how we would broach that. You did mention that in your discussion there, but one way or the other, I do not have a problem. I was just hoping for a little bit better of a response. And that was my comments, that we did get a better response on the aquatic center than we did from a presentation of the delegation with 500 names on the petition. And not that many did respond on that. Councillor Vomaka.
Hi, I agree with Councillor Austin because I know I didn't put in a vote because I wasn't too concerned about if somebody had chickens next door to me any more than I'm concerned if they have a dog or if they get a cat. So I really think though that we need to move forward on this and not take up any more staff's time. And I'm happy to see in the Duncan one that you do have to, if you're a resident or sorry, a tenant, you do have to get your approval of the landlord or the owner of that building. And I think it's imperative that we have that. If a tenant moves out, it's the landlord that's left with the cleanup bill. And so I would be more than happy that if the five of us got together and decided yes or no to move forward.
Well, that is totally your decision. You can make that at this meeting to staff. I'll let Councillor Sandu speak to this.
Well, I was just going to make a motion that we direct staff to formulate a new bylaw and bring it back to council.
So moved by Councillor Sandu, direction to staff to amend the animal husbandry bylaw to allow backyard chickens and bring it back for council input. Seconded by Councillor Vomaka. Joseph, you wish to speak to that?
You will also have to amend the zoning bylaw.
So both will come back for discussion and debate. Councillor Vomaka. Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor Day first.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to say well, I am in favor of moving forward on this, but I just wanted to check because then somebody could refresh my memory on how the APC feels about this, and it's probably in the official community plan already, but I'm sorry I didn't get time to read that. But could I get anybody's thoughts on their opinions?
We did forward it to the APC. They discussed it at their meeting and sent it back and said council should make the decision. And I think there was some discussion. Councillor Austin is the representative on there, so I'll let her approach that.
They did basically all agree that they felt that there was not a problem with doing that, and it was suggested that we send it back to council for their opinion as well. So one of the people on the APC had been at our meeting when we had the presentation, and it changed that person's mind as to raising chickens. So that's how that turned out.
Okay, and Councillor Vomaka next.
Well, 30 seconds and I forgot. Oh, I was going to say that with the grant that we did get for the COVID, and we were talking about people being at home and their food security, I'm wondering if the funds and the grant from the COVID would allow us to use those funds to pay for the bylaw change.
I think it's pretty explicit on what those funds can be expended for, and we're waiting for further provincial input. It was pretty vague in the announcement letter. There is some further correspondence coming from the province on exactly what those funds can be utilized for. I'm not sure that it can be utilized for bylaws to implement food security, but that would be a question that the CAO could most certainly broach if you wish him to. But within that announcement letter, it was fairly specific on in a vague manner as to what those funds can be allocated for.
It's fairly specific. So I don't think the food issue would be one that's covered under that grant. But I at the end of the day, I don't think the cost of moving forward with the zoning changes or the bylaw for the animal control would be exorbitant anyways. It'd be something we can afford.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. And just a comment, if I may, Joseph, once this comes back and does get approved, there will be public input on the zoning change
Correct.
and on the animal husbandry bylaw, or
No.
just the
zoning change.
portion? Just so people are aware. Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't mention it earlier, but it's a moot point for me at this point. And I did receive, there was a little bit of an email onslaught about chickens. I chose to leave those alone until the public input session, and I responded back to those folks saying that then would be the time to move forward. I didn't want to start influencing anybody's decision by these letters, and most of them were positive. So we'll just leave it at that, and I will encourage them to forward those letters again during the public input process, and that's when the time we consider their input. So
Great.
thank you.
And I just want to reassure you that I do love chickens. In a previous life, I worked for Colonel Sanders, and I love chicken. Moving forward, Joseph.
Yeah, if I may, what I can do before I draft the changes to the bylaws is to provide you a synopsis of what's proposed in those bylaws and in terms of regulations that would be suitable for Foley County.
Okay.
And then you can make the changes that you so desire and then move forward with the bylaws.
And I think we've got lots of input from various other communities
Yes.
as to how they did that. So all good. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the community forum. Oh, no, wait. Under F, an addition on the formation of the Strategic Planning Committee. So at this point, I think Mayor Day, if you want to put that forward, we will implement that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make the motion that the Town of Lake Cowichan Council establish a strategic planning committee of the whole containing all members of council, and insert that into our regular meeting schedule as we see fit after the finance administration meetings on the second Tuesday of every month. So.
Okay, moved by Mayor Day to implement that strategic planning committee, seconded by Councillor Romaka. And within that, that's to work forward on our strategic plans for the next 2 years, short term, and perhaps 5 years long term on where we see the future of the town of Lake Cowichan, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor Day.
Yeah, and just to make a comment before we call the vote, that one of the sessions I listened to on a webinar said that it's a good idea to go past the length of your term by at least a year, so that if there's a changeover in council and stuff like that, that they're not only charged with creating a new budget right away and learning the ropes and then doing a strategic plan as soon as they're elected. So yeah, and I found that most times strategic plans, if they do overlap elections, it's a good idea and gives the new people a bit of a break.
And they have a formula to work in that first year while they're on that steep learning curve as well. Okay, are you ready for the question? All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Now we'll go to community forum. Mayor Day?
Thank you again. So I know that I heard that our protocol agreement had expired with the Subasat First Nation, and during a brief telephone conversation after I was elected, Mr. Hamilton said that he would like to get that done and he would look into funding. And then lo and behold, there appears this application form. And of course, you can see it was submitted before it came to this table, but I didn't control the scheduling on that. And so it's here for your perusal, and they require a letter from the town supporting this initiative to move forward. They've established some tentative dates as well, so I hope you've all had a chance to read that, and involve area F and I as well.
Great.
And for those of you who haven't participated in one of those, sorry that it's the way that First Nations like to do this. The funding's available. We get to have a lunch. They get to rent meeting space and get a proper facilitator to come in and help guide the process, and it works rather smoothly, as Councillor McGonigal I know has been through it in the past. Can tell you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we're all excited about re-implementing the C2C forums and look forward to those dates coming forward. You do need a letter of support, so are you moving a letter of support, Mayor Day?
So moved.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Austin. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Notice of motion. Mayor Day, you had one on homelessness and funding options.
Thank you. So originating out of the poverty reduction strategy meetings that Social Planning Cowichan had applied for on behalf of the Cowichan Lake area, a few of our participants, local participants in that meeting, became quite emotional and wanted to tackle homelessness at the same time. And they made a strong enough case, at least in my mind, and a couple of the others, that that's an issue that exists in the town of Lake Cowichan. There's 6 identified, and receiving minimal services. And I know that, one of them is sleeping from time to time in the outhouse at the pickleball courts, and others are in a tent trailer outside of somebody's house. And so I'll leave it at that so we don't get too involved, but they are homeless. They are definitely identified by community service as well. And so there are supports out there that, but we need to mobilize as a community to attract those supports. And community services seems like they're willing to help administrate that. The Milena was on the Zoom meeting today for the poverty reduction strategy, and that topic came up again, and they seem like they'd be willing to at least help apply for funding and maybe help administrate. Right now they're supplying soup and the odd warming session and computer use, not on a permanent basis, but just on an ad hoc basis, because they do have no funding to actually tackle this issue head on. So that being said, in a introduction conversation with Mayor Staples from Duncan, and I'm sorry if this gets long-winded, but it's also part of what I've been up to lately. She brought up the subject of homelessness and how they had attracted some help with the funding to address it. Right up until there's a program where they can build one-room shelters with a light and a heater, and they're portable and they can be moved into certain situations if need be, especially during the colder weather. And that that Lake Cowichan could probably get access to some of those if they so desired through the conversations that are taking place with community service and stuff. So don't know how this council feels about attacking it, but it is being discussed and will be discussed again this Friday for possible solutions. Because what I said to this committee, because people were getting quite emotional, is that unless we mobilize ourselves and reach out, we're not going to get anything, whether it be from the affordable housing or tourism Cowichan. We need to start mobilizing as a community. And not that I'm saying this is a bad thing, that we're maybe not as much as we could be, but we can't complain about not getting the help if we're not asking. So so we do have 6. And one of the things that Mayor Staples brought up in Duncan was that all the homeless that live in Duncan didn't come from Duncan. They just flocked to Duncan because the services are there. And it's created quite a large issue with temporary camps. And they're winterizing some of those camps right now through the ones that created during the beginning of COVID. So don't want to get too far down the road there, but In my belief, as a human, is that the people that are homeless in Lake Cowichan are our residents as well. And if there's something we can do to make their lives a little better, and the funding is out there, I believe that as a community, we should be reaching out and trying to assist the agencies that are doing it, are trying to do it, and lend them a hand as well. So, but I also noticed that for short-term measures and possibly long-term measures, because this stuff you don't just do it tomorrow, because you can create even bigger issues if we're not careful and it's not well thought out. But in the COVID Restart Grant, there is definitely services for funding available for people with services for vulnerable persons, example, persons living with disabilities, mental illness or addictions, and persons experiencing homelessness or other vulnerabilities. And my question to you today that wouldn't need an answer, but for discussion at a later date is, are we able to access a little bit of funding if needed to help out local agencies in the beginning? And I look forward to maybe possibly a strategic conversation about how we could address the situation long term. So I'll leave it at that. Discussion for another day. I will inform you that I'm meeting with that group again on Friday to discuss how the different agencies in town can reach out to what is it at the Regional District Council, McGonigal? The Cowichan Housing Association.
Yes.
And as well BC Housing to access some funding to help them out.
So this will be coming forward as a notice of motion. Which committee would you like this to reside in? This committee?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
strategic planning as well.
So prior to that coming to the meeting, might I suggest on your next leadership Zoom meeting that you forward that question to Mr. Horn on the implementation of those mobile structures that you spoke of, and the costing, and what could accommodate within outlying areas. I myself have been working with Sergeant Watson on similar concerns within that disenfranchised community, those that are marginally housed, and the services that they are lacking. So let's bring this forward to the next Finance and Admin for further discussion. And if you can broach that question at your leadership, that would be most appreciated. Okay, so we'll look for that to come forward at the next Finance and Administration meeting for further discussion and maybe update. Mayor Day.
Thank you very much. I'll do that.
Thank you. Do we have any public relations items from anyone here? Mayor Day.
Sorry, but here I am again. Just wanted to let everybody know that the food bank was the recipient of some of the Stuff the Truck groceries this week, and I volunteered to go help, but it ended up being that their truck was not able to be used, the one that had lined up. So I just like to say that the Tube Shack graciously allowed the organization to use that truck, and we brought back 6,000 pounds of food yesterday. And our food bank is stuffed, and there's lots more in the Duncan area to be picked up at a later date after the holiday season. So it was an amazing day watching that food get distributed to the 5 food banks in the region, and I'm very proud to be a part of it, and very thankful that local business stepped up to help out. So, and to see our food bank overflowing.
So let's do a virtual clap for the Tube Shack. Councillor Austin.
And the Stuff the Truck.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got, Lorna sent us the email, and Michelle Staples had challenged all the female politicians in Cowichan Valley to donate, and we did donate some funds, and I think she challenged the men too. I think the females raised $3,000, so the female politicians. So that was kind of neat to be part of that. And we hope that there's more coming their way. I think you said there's more coming, so that's good. That should help. They really need the food more in January and February now. After getting over Christmas, they'll need more.
Great, thank you very much. I want to just give a big shout out to the Lake Cowichan Fire Department on their toy drive-through toy drive that they just finalized. A huge amount of cash donations, gift cards, and toys that was raised by them when they didn't think they were going to be allowed to do it. So a big shout out to the Lake Cowichan Fire Department. And also, I think what we failed to talk about tonight was the implementation of public input and question period during these virtual meetings. So what I would suggest for this meeting is if anyone is watching and has a question, that they forward those to administration at Lake Cowichan for your question, and we will respond. And it has to be on the topics within the agenda today. So if you want to forward those questions, the chair will respond to your question as appropriate. If that is okay, Joseph?
Yeah, it would be better if it's sent to general at Lake Cowichan, because
Okay,
then
general.
because that's checked every day.
General@lakecowichan.ca. So your questions on tonight's agenda, general@lakecowichan.ca. Look forward to seeing some. Okay, anything else? Looking for adjournment then. Moved by Councillor Promaka, seconded by Councillor Sandu. I'd just like to thank staff for a difficult start, but getting us through this. And fellow councillors, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's close.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
See you next week.